We're live, guys. So I thought I would talk about this whole subject of when to stop doing keto. Should you stop? The ApoE4 gene, lipoprotein, cholesterol carrier. I think it's ApoE4 or E3, E4-3. I'm learning a lot about this and trying to understand more about cholesterol. I can speak by my experience with people with their different cholesterol values to some varying degree, and then talk about people's symptoms, because that's really what you guys might want to know. Being at that a lot of people don't really know about particle sizes and what they really mean if you're coming from a demographic, hey everyone, that is ketogenic for the long term, such as myself. So what does that look like? Is a little bit better situated. What does that look like? Oh no, that doesn't work. Sorry, peoples. People. Okay. That's crooked. What does that look like over time? And I thought it would be a good discussion because somebody was like, what do you think about, this person, that person, talking about people with the APO4 gene that cannot eat saturated fats, right? Because they have a lot of cholesterol particles floating in the bloodstream. So I don't know enough, but by me studying other people and me studying the subjects that I work with, either in a consultation, which has been years now, or this keto course that I'm running, which I'm able to run a lot of experiments with these people, with these wonderful people, to see what happens symptom-wise. So with that said, I think the problem with people doing keto over time is that there's no data. Hi everyone. And getting leg cramps at night. Okay, so I'll answer that in a sec. I just want to get through this little chunk about cholesterol and with studies. The problem with the studies is that pretty much all of the studies are on high carbohydrate eaters, processed carbohydrate eaters, because we weren't living with no hunter-gatherers thousands of years ago. So we don't know what they did. We have no idea if they're grazing all day long. If they're going through famine, what does that look like? We don't know. We're guessing. And so what we have to do is take subjects today and really study them. So I wish somebody would study Stephanie, because Stephanie has not refed at all in 11 years. Nothing. No carbs, no sugar, no fructose, no xylitol, no monk fruit, no coconut sugar, no sweet fruits, nothing. I have not refed once in 11 years. Not one time. No coffee, no alcohol, nothing. So I'm a true example of someone who's getting older. So I started talking about keto videos. I was doing keto before I was announcing it to the public because I thought people would think I was crazy. But I've been doing keto since my early 40s to now my early 50s. And I keep a video catalog. You guys can see me, right? You can see my health and see my hormones just by looking at me. So I'll get to you guys' questions because they're not on the subject in which I'm speaking of. So I thought it'd be very interesting. There's just the concept, right? To not go deep into science, but really think about this, you guys. If you have an ApoE4 gene and you've got a lot of cholesterol, or you've got a lot of serum cholesterol, does it really matter? Because no one really knows, because they don't study people who've done ketogenic diets without any refeeds over time. So therefore, all of these cholesterol studies in any fashion have been on people who eat a high carbohydrate diet. So it's very subjective to test people to understand their calc levels, the calcium deposits in their body, or trying to understand the high blood pressure, or can some people take sodium and some cannot? I mean, it makes sense. This woman was talking about, I was listening to her. Makes sense. Hey, Deborah. That you might find people having high blood pressure who are coming from an Afrocentric background, such as myself. Although I'm mixed with a lot of stuff, largely my arse is coming from Aluba, Africa. So with that said, what's good, Alex? So with that said, you know, is it, you know, an African and a black population? Yes. Don't forget to like up the stream, guys. So hit that X in the corner and collapse it and give it a thumbs up, and then reopen the chat with the little icon that says like chat icon. But with that said, I want you guys to be not afraid to do keto, to not think that you have to refeed. No one can sit and tell me, you, like if they had told me 11 years ago, you can't do keto over the long term or else you're going to have issues with your hormones. You're going to have issues with your arteries, cholesterol, plaquing, blood pressure, thyroid, your immune system, your gut, your red and white blood cells. Like, people would say, don't do it for the long term. You've got to refeed at one point, or else it's going to be damaging all of these very delicate systems. Well, back then they didn't know, and back then I didn't know, and back then, and a lot of stuff I still don't know, but back then there wasn't anything to deter me from doing it. So perhaps if I would see videos today like, you can't do keto for the long term, or women, it's not good for women to do keto for the long term, I might be a little bit unnerved. I might be a little like, but because I didn't have anything in my face, I have myself as an example, and I also have people that I've been working with now for years, or people following me for years who are telling me what's going on with their health, or people beating autoimmunity, people beating cancer, who start following me because they knew the story of my mother, just following me. So I really hope that people, scientists, will start to study people such as myself who've done keto and completely objective, right? I'm healthy. I don't have any diseases. I have no liver disease. I have no artery disease. I have no diseases. I have no autoimmunity. I have no thyroid issues. I don't have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I don't have any of these issues. So I'm a healthy person. I eat very healthy. I eat very clean. I exercise, and I try to free the mind and connect to the circadian rhythm and all this stuff. So I'd be a great subject to study, to see what actually happens to a person's genetics, their health, by doing a low carb, high fat, ketogenic protocol over a long, long time. Most people don't fare well doing keto. And they don't fare well because there's so many things saying eat cheese, eat nuts, drink caffeine, take MCT oil, intermittent fast for autophagy, and then you guys all do it. And people aren't adapting. They don't adapt. They feel like shite. They start binging on food. They get super tired. Their hair falls out. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So if you're going to do this thing, they need to do a study. But I don't think anybody has the need to fund it, because even some of the people who talk about keto or have tried keto, nobody wants to be that strict with their food that I've met. Maybe online I get some people who are like, it's a like one and done, I'll never change this ketogenic dietary measure. Is it normal in nature to not refeed, let's say on honey? No, it's not. At some point we would refeed on honey. But also our hunter-gatherers, because our body is, we are hunter-gatherers. Body doesn't know we're living in like an apartment shoebox, that like doesn't know it. So my body does not understand that there is food in my refrigerator. I'm not starving. So if I do things that are stress on the body, that will mimic not eating, because you'd either have infection, most likely, infection, elements freezing to death, and starving are probably the main reasons why people have issues living outside, foraging and hunting food. So I just wanted to do a brief summary, even though I've been talking for, just 10 minutes, that I don't want people to be detoured away from trying a ketogenic protocol, because now people are talking about, well, what if you have the ApoE4 gene and what is it, the third copy, which is most common, and what if you have this gene and you can't take saturated fats? These are all hypotheses. This is all guessing. This is all anecdotal, because we just haven't studied people doing keto for the long term at all. So, people are coming back with serum cholesterol at 350, like, oh, my serum cholesterol is 350. And I'm like, well, what's your triglycerides? What are your HDL numbers? And then they're like, well, they're in range. And I'm like, well, do you have any symptoms? Do you have any symptoms of high blood pressure? Do you have any symptoms of any coronary artery disease, CAD? And they don't. So we have to study this population and really try to understand, does it really matter? Because LDL particles, right, lipoproteins, right, low density lipoproteins are going to come in way different sizes. It's not like one size. They're like this size and this size and this size and this size and this size. And if you go down to the small particle, is that actually plaquing? Is that plaquing your arteries? They don't know enough right now. So I'm going to take your guys' questions and concerns, but I can give you my opinion on my own experience doing keto without refeeding over a long period of time. And I can also talk about other people that I've worked with, or people who have DM'd me telling me, hey, Steph, I've been following you. This is what I've come to experience. So let's take your guys' questions. John, how much magnesium? Okay, so other things I'm trying to learn about is the nutrient density in foods and the minerals, why this, why that, why we need magnesium so much, how magnesium is making vitamin D accessible for calcium. So calcium can be absorbed and used for bones and teeth rather than calcifying things in the body, unused calcium. So there's these things, and like, does K2 actually degrade and break down calcium deposits? Perhaps not in the short term, perhaps in the long term. K2 coming from something like beef will be very advantageous for people who are afraid of eating liver or don't like it. See, I always have a hard time falling asleep when I start keto. Oh, wait, that's because of electrolyte deficiencies. So again, we are mineral deficient times a million, and you guys are going for like the supplements of calcium, toxic. A lot of these supplements are made to chemically activate it so they're more bioavailable for the body to use, and then often the body doesn't use them, or it puts a strain on the liver. And so I always try to get people to get things from natural sources, although magnesium is a very difficult one because our soils have been completely over-farmed, so there's not a lot of magnesium in the plant source foods. There's not enough magnesium in the animal sources, so supplemental magnesium and salts and things of this nature are advantageous, because I think that the sprays are like magnesium chloride. But with that said, or Epsom salt, I believe, we need the calcium we can get from eggshells. We can get them from bones by grinding the bones down and baking, like eggshells, for example. That's a good source of calcium, but you know, the bacteria, the problematic bacteria, is going to be on the shell. So you got to wash it, and then you've got to bake your shells, and then you can grind them down and sprinkle them on your food for calcium. Okay, you look so, wait, look, is evidence enough? You look young and healthy. Like, thank you. I like LL Cool J. Yo, I'm healthier than LL Cool J, because LL Cool J does not eat as clean as Stephanie. Okay. But although I think we're around the same age, or I think I'm like 1 or 2 years older than LL Cool J, because you guys know I'm 51. And yes, I am the perfect example of somebody who's done keto over time and full natty, you know. Yeah, I show my body all the time, so you guys, I have a really clear video catalog of what Stephanie looks like as she ages. She just gets better. So let's see here. what do we got going on here? Nutritional yeast. Okay. So a lot of people like to use nutritional yeast for its B complex, but I'm starting to realize that that B complex is not very bioavailable. And so we want to get our B complex, especially we want to get our B6 from liver. Get on it. Try to get grass-fed, because I'm realizing that people who are doing organic liver are having issues, if you have histamine intolerance, issues with the soy and corn-fed cows who are organic. Okay? Just side note. So you have to be careful with the nutritional yeast. It is pretty high in carb. So people like, it tastes so good, people be like dumping that stuff. And it can spike your blood sugar. So yes. People sometimes will comment on my channel and try to debate me. And I'm 51. I don't really care what you think. And people trying to get a rise out of Stephanie about the blood sugar. Does it really matter? It does. When people's blood sugar is skyrocketing, let's see if your blood sugar in the 90s, even from the mid 80s higher, you feel horrible on keto. And you just can't factor in your fasted glucose. You got to check your glucose all day long as well to make sure that you're not having a reactive hypoglycemia episode in the afternoon or postprandial episode in the afternoon. So you could have like perfect morning glucose, ketogenic, but not like you think you are, but you're not. And then have this crash in the afternoon, and that's very much unstable blood sugar. So then when you do a ketogenic protocol, you've got to go like, well, if I eat fat all day long, that's going to overburden my digestive tract. But if I don't eat fat all day long, I'm going to have these ever rising and growing hypoglycemic reactions, which then creates a thyroid reaction. You are welcome, Wade. Let's see, have you had difficult clients that always cheated? Yes, honey. 9 Mars 3. I think that probably 95% of anyone that I've done a consultation with has refed or cheated. It's really just like a 5 to 8% retention rate of people sticking with it. And I know off the bat of my head who has stuck with it, because they contacted me years ago, or they did consultations with me 6 years ago, and they've still done it. Well, we've got Deborah as a really great example of somebody who has done it for 2 solid years. And her attitude is fantastic. She's just so positive about how it's helping her autoimmunity. And that plays a big role. Like if you believe in something, there's this big placebo effect. If you don't believe in it, goes the blood sugar, and then you can't adapt. Let's see here. I started keto and like 70% of my hair fell out, but my vitamin D was way low too. Love you. What? You are so, you are so awesome. Okay. So people's hair falling out is like, I should just do like 15 videos straight in a row until it freaking gets into the minds of people that your hair can fall out due to the drop of your T3. Yes, and the spike of your TPO antibodies, the thyroid issues. And people have underlying issues with their hormones and with their thyroid hormones and with their adrenal hormones. And then they have stress and they don't sleep well and they do keto, and it's like a volcano of an eruption of your hair falling out when you're doing keto the wrong way. Sometimes keto the right way is you just have to really graduate slowly into it, which is why I'm creating like a low carb, high fat protocol to either stick and stay with or to graduate into keto, because some people they can't do keto overnight. Hi, Stephanie, you already read that. Okay, I'm 6 months. Steph keto, okay, Steph keto approved foods or lifestyle. My latest lipid panel shows that my bad cholesterol LDL has increased. That's not your, who told? Okay, first of all, CS, that's not your bad cholesterol. These are, they're not cholesterol, they're proteins, they're transportation carriers, like taxi cabs or like a bus to take you from one place to the other. Lipoproteins bind or carry cholesterol particles to inflammation to fix your body. So you actually just you're just parroting what you've heard. which is nonsense. So LDL particles, these taxi cabs come in different sizes. So the theory is that if they get smaller and smaller, VLDLs and very small low density lipoproteins can begin to stick and plaque, right, and narrow arteries. But you also have big fluffy LDLs that bounce through the bloodstream and carry cholesterol so it can do its job. So if we had low LDL numbers, that could also be very dangerous. So you got to understand, these doctors really don't understand cholesterol 100% yet. I mean, they've dug maybe 2% into the body and understanding it. So just be patient. Don't get caught up in the verbiage. Go by your symptoms. Check other things like your calc levels, your calcium deposits. Check your CRP markers, which are subjective because I can hit my elbow and check my C-reactive protein. Check things like your blood pressure and how you feel. Tired, exhausted. Yeah, just see if you have any type of plaquing in your arteries, stiffening of the walls, blood pressure, resting heart rate. Things of this nature is very, very important. There's the word keto restaurants. I know. I mean, to be honest, Wade, I think that keto is going to go up and then it's going to die. And why would there be keto restaurants if it's going to go out of style? Which I'm waiting for it to do. So if it goes out of style, then I will be there rebounding, and I'll still be there for the people who are the ride and die. Like, I'm going to do this and I need to do this and I have autoimmunity, and people who aren't just doing keto for weight loss, but they're doing it to fix their body. Because I keep telling you guys, you're not going to drop this fat, this like floating fat in the air, until you fix your health. It's just not going to happen. You can drop weight on a scale, but you're not going to leave your muscle perfectly anabolic and drop fat without being catabolic. It's just not going to happen. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. I think my camera focus. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get it so the camera doesn't focus there and I don't like pixelated. So let's see what we got. You and keto have kept me out of a wheelchair, which is amazing. Thank you, Deborah. I am totally sold on this and will never go back. So Deborah is a really great example of someone who has rheumatoid arthritis, and like, that's what she's saying. This is keeping me out of a wheelchair. And more people that I'm finding over the years, because now I'm doing this for years and years and years. So what a lot of other people do is they like to study other people's studies, study other people's research, incomplete research, because they have not done studies on the ketogenic diet. My protocol, which is no cheese, no caffeine, no irritants, no processed food, just all healthy, pastured, non-GMO, as best as you can, no glyphosate floating in the air and landing on your organic crops. And things like, you know, people who've got, it's very interesting, you know, oh, well, I've got this APO4 gene, double copy, third, 3, and can you eat saturated fat? They don't know. So it's these people, everybody's guessing right now. So we actually just have to go by people's total health and vitality. So this is me on keto for 11 years. You're not going to see that in other videos. What happens if someone goes over their fat content? Nothing. I mean, like I said, they don't know for sure what's going on with the ApoE4. So we'll take that off the table for now until we learn more. And when it comes to going high in fat, if you have, let's say, gastric bypass or lap band, that could be problematic. Yes, you could feel sick. Or no gallbladder. Or if you have leaky gut or low stomach acid and you don't have enough lipase to break down fat, yes, these are issues with eating a lot of fat. But if you don't have these issues, go over your fat. What is your fat ceiling? Your body will be like, I'm good. We're done. You're not going to just keep eating fat until, you know, you turn into an Oompa Loompa. It's just not going to happen. So sort of a subjective question. Let's see what we got here. Keto carnivore has drastically improved my chronic constipation and inflammation. So this is great, Jessica Torres. keto carnivore, and you cannot do carnivore without doing keto, because you still have to factor in your electrolytes and you have to factor in the fat content. So you still want to produce ketones and utilize them, not just produce them, but utilize them. And what happens with a lot of people doing carnivore, they'll eat 2 pounds of meat a day, and then they'll feel better, because people who've got issues with oxalates, they don't have this bacteria, oxalobacter, and so therefore they can't eat oxalate-rich foods, which, like potassium, there's a lot of potassium in spinach, they can't eat that. You know, avocado tends to be a high histamine food, and some people can't do both, so they're kind of fracked up, and they can't do bone broth, which also has potassium because of the glutamate, which is creating problems up there. And then some people, the only people I think have a problem with organ meats are not getting grass-fed or pasture or bug-eaten chicken liver. Let's see, what's up, GD? So it's great that carnivore is taking down inflammation, because some people have that, and they also have diamine oxidase deficiency, DAO, which means they have a hard time to get rid of the histamine. So histamine makes you swell up so you can heal. And if you're missing this enzyme, you just keep swelling and not friggin' unswelling. Every time you eat foods that are higher in histamine, you can't get rid of the histamine, so you feel horrible. So these people are the ones that are like, I feel so bad when I have like a salad, and you know, I get gassy, or I feel sick, or I feel tired, or I feel itchy or mucousy or whatever. My stool goes haywire, or I can't sleep. Juliet's like, yes, you guys, don't forget to like up the stream. I have a humble channel. As you guys know, I try to keep updating all the science and all the information that I'm learning. So I'm not just talking about like weight loss and like fat bombs, right? And keto snacks. Yeah, if I did that, I'd probably have more people following me, but I don't. Let's see. Yes, Deborah says to subscribe to her Facebook keto course, which I run a course, which is amazing. You go to stephanieperson.com, which is my website, and sign up for it there. It's $15 a month. And there are some people signing up for courses that are $2,000. Okay. I've gotten the numbers of 2,800, and these people were not around when I started. And so they have not worked with the volume of people that I have. And because scientists and doctors don't know the science yet of not just being ketotic, but over time, or how to adapt you, we're all on the same playing field. We are all in the same. You have to work with people, right? You have to learn from your subjects. You can't just read a non-long-term study with people still eating inflammatory foods who've got deficiencies. Histamine. Yo, when you run tests, it's expensive. We're going to take this person at this age, and we're going to run all their health tests to see where they are and what their diet was, and if they were breastfed, and if they were, you know, you've got to see all those things. Like, what's your gut microbiome? Like, that stuff matters, because this is your immune system. This is going to affect your DNA. And this is going to, this here, right there, that's where it is, right? That's the large intestine there, and then you boop, 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 boop. And small intestine. Hi, Steph. Let me see. Did I just hear you say that a person that had bariatric surgery and gallbladder removed may have issues with consuming fats? Yes, I did. And I've worked with many people who do it, but you have to be very careful. Okay. So these are the people that might have to do ox bile, or they might have to do B18, HCl, and then they have to be very careful, the amounts and the timing of the foods. They don't get like acid reflux. And you have to chew your food slowly, like beyond slowly, to do a ketogenic diet, but you can if you've had bariatric surgery. Yes, you can. And bazillion people have had their gallbladder removed to do keto, absolutely successful, which again, you have to be very careful with like supplements, because I'm not a supplement person, but in this case, you might have to go on some HCl, and you might have to go on the ox bile. Maybe, not all of you. Let me see, how do you take ox bile? So, Katie, I'm not the ox bile expert because I got a gallbladder. So, apparently, yes, you start under the recommended dose. You don't start taking ox bile salts prior to eating a fatty food. You eat it and make sure that people with People without a gallbladder or sludge or stones eat their fat with food, right? Because that protein is going to percolate those protease and lipase enzymes to help break down food, because not only do you want the gallbladder to work, but you also want the stomach acids to be where they're at. So sometimes people have to do a combination between HCl and ox bile for the short term. You would take it probably 50% into a meal that you're eating before you start taking, and that's both. That's for both. You take it when you've already started eating to get those salts and the HCl mixed up with the food. So if you've got any type of mucus lining issues in your stomach, it'll be hard. You start to feel a little acidy if you're not ready for it. And also HCl start under the recommended dose. People are like, oh, I eat 20 tablets of HCl. I'm like, then you don't need HCl if you're taking 20 and you're fine. People, it's like when you take one, you're like, oh, get a little burning, a little stomach ache. That's when you know you have low stomach acid. Boop. So let's see here. Do you recommend cod liver oil? That's something I've been learning a lot about as well. Issues with, it's not the EPA. I was listening to Chris Masterjohn, very smart. But yes, I'm not a cod liver oil specialist, but yes, I do think that very highly regarded cod or krill oil, highly regarded krill or cod with, if you can tolerate egg yolks and butter and organ meats and liver, and if you don't have the sun, use a light box, could be a better way to bring up your D levels rather than going for these very toxic supplements. Okay? And then they'll give you like D with calcium, and both are toxic, right? Wrong type of calcium, and it's not being used. It's not used up for your bones and teeth. It's just plaquing. It's just creating deposits. We don't want that. Macros for my kids, please. I have 3 kids, but not sure how many grams. I don't know how your kids are and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not, like, I'm very careful with just saying, and as anyone should be, oh, you should do this. I'm not going to do that if you got kids. No. If you did a consultation with me and I was able to talk to you, by the way, you guys, my calendar is completely open. So get into that calendar before it gets full booked. If you guys are looking for a one-on-one consultation, this is not something I'm just doing now. You guys know I've been around forever doing consultations. I've been doing them, let me see, at least through YouTube. People finding me on YouTube at least 7 years. And then I did them for 3 years before that. So I've been doing it a long time. Okay, do you think eating raw egg yolks is safe and better than eating them boiled? Well, you can boil them a little bit if you want to be safe. Like, I'm not the bacteria specialist, the botulism specialist, but I can say that pastured eggs that are well-treated chickens that are eating bugs and things off the ground and not glyphosate, should be fine. Yeah, should be fine to eat it raw. Because as you know, tons of carnivore people are eating it raw, but these are not, like, the carnivore wave is all new people. So let's see what happens over time. Because we don't know, you know? We don't know. Let's see here. What do you think if you, what do you do if you begin to make what, CH weight? What do you mean by that? On keto, I've got PCOS and never was able to lose weight. A few months on keto and I just began to lose quickly, adding, okay, Holly, life isn't like that. I know other people will make it sound so simple, but it's a little bit more scientific. There's a little more physiology involved. You have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Do you have cysts? How long have you had PCOS? Is your estrogen high with your testosterone? Are you having the symptoms? Are you having chest hair and acne? Is your blood sugar running high? Have you taken metformin? Have they prescribed you metformin? Typically, PCOS people have thyroid. Like, have you had that checked? Have your hair start falling out? Do you have the male pattern baldness? This is what happens on PCOS, okay? Not to everybody, but people have some of these symptoms. And what's your lifestyle? And these things matter on why your testosterone skyrocketed, your DHT, dihydrotestosterone, rocketed, your estradiol rocketed. Like, you know, we need to know what's going on with your lifestyle, because it doesn't matter how much I break down the science, not just the science, knowing your background is key. And that's not scientific. It's just, well, it is, but it's not. Like, yo, do you sleep? Do you get rest? Do you skip meals? I don't know why you're losing weight. It could be water weight, it could be muscle, it could be ketones. Don't know. I don't know if you're using a glucometer, because PCOS women tend to have high blood sugar. Let me see, you can put raw egg yolks in a blender, turn it on, and add hot herbal tea and butter. Make special, yeah, you can do that. Very fatty. Okay, collagen supplements, don't really care. Tired of the supplements, to be honest. I'd rather people just go grab some chicken feet, some oxtail, and chicken feet, pork, pig feet, and oxtail, and get like real, fresh, gelatinous-like collagen and stuff that hasn't been dried and hydrolyzed. Yeah. It's the same thing with like, oh, should you take liver supplements for the zinc and the vitamin A, or should you just eat liver? I'm learning a lot too about the importance of vitamin A from Chris Masterjohn. What else? Vitamin A and, no, zinc and zinc. Zinc. Zinc and copper, because they have to be like, they have to balance each other. Same thing with potassium and sodium. So if some people are just swollen up like balloons. But with that said, you guys, I'm going to get off. I'm going to go to my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. I'm going to do a quick live stream there and start working on other things, business projects that I'm doing, and of course learning. Let me see, RDA for potassium is 4,000. Yeah, I don't believe that anymore, because that's so much potassium, and they can't give you, it's potassium chloride, I believe, and they only give you 99 milligrams because it's so toxic to the liver. And I don't believe that people who are running around with, you know, oxalate issues are sitting there pounding spinach down for potassium. So I think that everything's contextual. Remember, a lot of these requirements are due to people who eat carbohydrates, people who've got deficiencies, people who've coming from soy and this and that and this toxin and that toxin, blah, 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 blah. And especially carbohydrates and processed food and pesticides and chemicals and amalgam fillings and, you know, birth control pills and medication. Like, we're coming from this camp. So do we actually need 4,700 milligrams of potassium? I don't think so. But that's just my opinion. Let me see, people tell me that you can't stay on it more than a few weeks. I've been on keto since September 27, 2016. It eliminated my sleep apnea. Oh, that's so awesome. Joint pain and acid reflux. I won't stop. That's what's up, guy. You guys are like everything to me, because people can say that I'm talking smack, but y'all are making your own comments on your own. I don't know who this person is, but who Guy is, but thank you so much for saying that. I've never met Deborah, but she's helping with, obviously she's helping moderate the page, but I'm learning about her through her commentary. So that's just awesome. How's coconut flour? I mean, some people react poorly to it. Some people have a glucose response, and I really don't think that people should do carb substitutes when they're trying to adapt. Maybe once you adapt, once you know all of your, you know, your sensitivities, and if you've developed good GLUT4 receptors, so you guys can get rid of glucose that you're making. Like, I'm really good. If I have my blood sugar spikes, and you guys, your blood sugar can spike. It doesn't, if you're ketotic, it pretty much stays in range. You go through a life stress, gluconeogenesis is going to spike your glucose really, really high, and then it drops, and I'm good to go. Okay, guys, so it is time for me to go. I'm trying to keep the streams not so long, because people on the replay don't like to watch long streams. We see, we should coordinate a keto meetup. Yeah, I mean, Jessica, I mean, I've actually done that. I went to Australia and toured there, and I went to Sweden, and they're sort of meetups, but they're also a seminar. I will do something like that, but you know, I gotta start walking, because I met yesterday with my video guy, and we're trying to find time to film better quality videos, because I just don't have time to film and edit. I've got a really amazing camera and an amazing lens. I've got backgrounds. You guys know I've got backgrounds for days. People are like, oh my God, you're not using your backgrounds. Well, guess what? I've got 3 of these, and I've got 4 colors of backgrounds. But like, I just don't have time to go and set up a studio in a shoebox. Like here's black on this side, there's white on this side, and I've got them in different colors. So I think my channel will increase exponentially when I start filming and editing videos of higher quality outside of the shoebox. But for now, that's what you got. Okay. So forgive the quality of the stream. I'm trying to stand over here because I realize the camera likes to focus over there. So I'm not in focus, and then that pillow stuff is in focus. Really annoying, super annoying. Okay, guys, thank you for joining the stream. Don't forget to like up the stream before I go by hitting that X. Let's see if we can get it up just a little bit more to drive people to this very humble channel. Even though I sound very sanctimonious and cocky sometimes, but I am very fortunate and humble for everything that has happened in my life. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everyone who came to today's chat, and really appreciate it. Thank you, Jessica's like, the information you give is high quality, and that's what I'm banking on, that I try so hard. I research all the time. People are like, what kind of education you have? I'm like, I research and then I work with a gazillion people. That's what I got. But you know what? It's priceless. Oh, Deborah's reminding guys to book a consultation. She's writing it so you can see how to spell out the website name. So it's stephanieperson.com. So don't forget to head over there to either get on the course page, which is $15 a month. Course page is amazing. You can do one month or many months, or you can go to my website for a consultation and get real information, because as you see, this woman's asking about PCOS and weight loss, and really talking to someone gives me a lot more information to then assess and give you some of my theories, if not facts, on what I think is the cause of anything. So you need to know more, need context to understand how to help people. All right, guys, I got some energy. This is the mother sucking business. 11 years on keto at the age of 51, no refeeding, and each time I try to get back to you guys with more information. I'm trying to take very technical stuff that gets kind of like too confusing and put it in a language that's more understandable for you guys. And I'm out. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Deborah, always. And yes. Oh, you can also go to my Facebook, which is Stephanie, the business person, as in the body business. If you just want free information there. You don't have to go to the course page, or you can go to the course page and sign up for it. What's a good ice cream recipe? Ooh, child, you are Whitney. Yeah, I'm trying to leave the stream. You're talking about like food porn. Honey, child. I got a video from like 7 years ago, me making some ice cream. Go find it. No, I'll put it in. I need to put things in a whatchamacallit, categories on so you guys want to go to my YouTube, you can be like, here are her streams. Okay, I want to see her talk live. I don't want to see her talk live. She's all over the place. Or here's subjects about magnesium types, electrolytes, why they're so important, or the fat, and what if you have the EPA4 and ApoE4. I keep saying it wrong, so forgive me if I say it wrong. I'm not used to saying it. ApoE4, ApoEB, not E. B is the particle size of LDLs. Yes, please do that. Yes, I will do that. Okay, bye guys. Go to my Instagram if you guys want to see me go live there, and I'm out. Peace.